Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Monster Report, a show highlighting those entertaining creatures of film history. And a reminder, it is not just the Monster Report, but you are watching the Monster Report live here in my temporary studio office slash room closet that I'm in right now because I am building a new office. A lot of things in the works personally here at House Nick Adam and Monster Report Central. So, the long and short of it is I'm going to be building a new office, which will have sits and do live shows and box days and all of that. So that's why I haven't seen a whole lot of content lately. But I promise you, we will be getting to that as soon as possible. Also, let me know in the chat if I'm coming through fine with audio and all that. And I'll bring my guest in here, Mr. Barron Christopher, in just a minute. We're going to be talking some Call of Duty Warzone, Operation Monarch, and it's going to be an interesting conversation. But before we get to that, of course, you know you're watching the Monster Report here, so you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course here on YouTube. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, check out all the different content pieces that we've got coming. Just a kind of a heads up that's coming in the Monster Trailers playlist is Jurassic Park, since we've got the new Jurassic Park, I think it's called Dominion, coming out here soon. That will be a series of trailers that we're going to get excited for. So that's going to be coming up, which will be the first 3 Jurassic Park movies and then the 2 Jurassic World movies that we have leading up to the June, whatever it is, release of Jurassic World Dominion. And that will be cool to see. So, and I'm just excited to get more content out there as we can. May is crazy for me. It's the end of the public school year. Our kids are homeschooled, but I also do freelance video shoots and edits and all that. So May is always the end of the school year. So there's always concerts, dance recitals, all kinds of end of the year school things that go on, and I'm involved with that with my videography. So that's why you haven't seen a ton of content coming out. But after this is all over here in May, you'll see a lot more. But today we're going to be talking some video gaming, some kaiju gaming, and I'm going to bring in my guest, Mr. Barron Christopher. Barron, how you doing?
Doing great, Nick. How are you?
Oh, just excellent. I'm glad to have you on the show. It has been a while. It's been a minute since we've had you.
It's been, oh gosh, it's been a while. Yeah.
I think my first G-Fest, I think it was 2014 because that was my first one. And I think that's where we met in person and sat down and had a little talk.
Correct. Yep. I do remember that because I remember we met, I want to say through Facebook, you had done a video. It was for when Godzilla 2014 was coming out, and you had done a video. They were doing some kind of, like, was it a fan contest or something where you kind of made your own video? And
yeah,
it was that Godzilla Union City. That's what you did.
Yeah, Godzilla Alert, hashtag Godzilla Alert. Gareth Edwards had asked everyone to make it look like Godzilla was in your hometown, so I put him in my little town of Union City, which, that went viral. I mean, Legendary Pictures retweeted it, so can't argue with that at all. And that's what really put the channel on the map, and that's why we are at. Thank you so much to our subscribers, 87,000 plus subscribers here on the Monster Report. So thank you to all the subscribers that are out there for chiming in and checking things out, especially my friend Godzilla Fan Freaks. Everett's watching from home. He can't wait to see the new Monster Report HQ, and audio and video is good. So that's good. I'm glad because as a videographer myself, I don't want it to be that I'm just talking. You can see me, but you can't hear me. So that's awesome. So we met then, and we're both Hoosiers. So we hit off really well. I met some of your friends. That's right. Yeah. Right here in the heartland. Met Mike Ross that year, and Joe Estalfa, may he rest in peace. And met so many cool people. That was also the year of the Ivuka Bay 100 concert, and then so a lot of things that were going on. And of course, the first Legendary Godzilla film was that year. So that was just a big year for G fans.
Yeah, I remember that well. That was a really fun year, and it just seems like it's only gotten bigger and bigger each year.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, the pandemic threw a wrench into work, so this is the first year they're gonna get back together and have that con again. So we'll see how that
Yep.
goes.
Yep.
Yep.
I'll be there. Looking forward to it. It's going to be great to be back after. Oh gosh, it'll be 3 years since 2019. Yeah, that was the last
Wow.
one.
Dang, yeah, yeah. It threw a real wrench in our works, but people wanting to get back to normal. I'm wanting to, get content out there, and of course, people have been watching, which is great. That's awesome. And so this is still a good time to be a G fan because more content has come out. We've had the more than 3 legendary movies, because if we include Pacific Rim, Kong Skull Island, we've got quite a bit of content that came out of the monsterverse, as it's called. And we've also got the on Netflix, I think it's called Pacific Rim Black. We've also got the upcoming MonsterVerse series on Apple TV, so might be interesting to see what that's going to be like. And now we have the entry into gaming with I'm guessing PlayStation only, right? With Call of Duty.
No, it's PlayStation and Xbox.
Okay, excellent. Yep. So we can play Operation Monarch,
and I have been playing Operation Monarch on both of them.
Okay. Well, I guess with that in mind, which is the better console for this?
Oh gosh, it's picking a better console sometimes. It's like picking your favorite child. It just kind of depends what you're in the mood for that day.
Yeah, I understand. So don't need to go there. I guess it all depends on the controller and whatever else, but I'm sure it plays great on both. Yeah. So with that kind of out of the way, you've had the chance to play it, and I'm going to tell everyone already, full disclosure here, I am not a gamer. I'm a retro, old school kind of guy. I go back to Godzilla Monster of Monsters on the NES. So, and the Game Boy puzzle game that they came out with. So, other than that, we didn't have a lot of great kaiju games. There was a game called King of the Monsters on Neo Geo and arcade, and
it was that and Super Nintendo. I think you had that.
Yeah.
You had Rampage, the classic arcade game. And then you had for Godzilla, they did the Godzilla series, the cartoon. They had a Game Boy Color, and they had those 2 games for Game Boy Color. And then obviously we got the Atari trilogy from that in the between 2000 and 2010. You had Destroy Monsters Melee, Save the Earth, and
Unleashed.
Yes,
I do have Unleashed. Yeah. So there were a few. They were not bad. Actually, as it went along, I'm still in the 8-bit and 16-bit days with things. But, there was also Ultraman Towards the Future, which was a really challenging monster beat-em-up game. But that was kind of a cool entry, actually, because I was actually a fan of that series, that very short Australian Ultraman series that was out, and collected some of the Bandai toys that were coming out. But, and actually, wasn't there was a PS3 Godzilla game, wasn't there?
Yes, so PS3,
2014.
PS4. I've got it. I've got a copy of it. I haven't played it in a while, but it was for PS4. I've got it for the PS4, and it came out for PS3, PS4. It was around the time the Legendary film came out.
The first,
when that game came out. Now the Ultraman one you're talking about, I did not know. I'm not familiar with that one.
Mm. It's quite old school. It's a Street Fighter tournament style fighter game, just side by side, and you had your different special moves that Ultraman would have. You had a finishing move that you had to build up to, and off the unique creatures, actually the unique kaiju that he fought just in the Ultraman Australian Towards the Future series, which again, I think there was only 10 or 12 episodes of that. It was not much. It's on YouTube. You can check it out. But it's interesting to see it as an Australian production, with Australian actors and all that. But it actually kind of works, because some of those accents, we remember some of those Australian accents ended up in the Japanese mouths of the dubs that we ended up getting from, I'm trying to think if it was AIP or some of the other Godzillas that came out, you know, the Toho franchise that came out. But what was your reaction just briefly on that? The game based on the 2014 Godzilla, that PS3, PS4 game.
I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, it's been a while. I need to really like get back and play it again. But when it came out, I really liked it. So I know it got some negative reviews, but I don't really know why. I mean, it gave me what I wanted, fighting other monsters and getting to do cool things. So I really liked it a lot.
Was it just? Could you describe it as like it wasn't like this, which was a first-person shooter? Was it more of a tournament fighter, or how would you describe it?
Oh gosh, it's been so long. If I had to say, it was kind of like Destroy Monsters Melee in a way.
Okay, yeah. So you do play as Godzilla or other monsters? Probably it's Godzilla.
You did Godzilla, and I remember you could do other monsters as well.
Okay, so yeah, just kind of also checking in with my friend again on YouTube, Everett. He has a cool Thursday show that he does live called Kaiju Chill O'Clock, and he did play the Call of Duty Operation Monarch on his last week's episode, so I did get to see a bit of the footage from him. So he's going to be playing Destroy All Monsters Melee and Unleashed. I guess we may have gave him that idea to include that, so check him out. Godzilla Fan Freaks.
I do remember one of the criticisms about the game that I did agree with was I don't believe it was a multiplayer. Like, I believe it was just kind of a single player, and you were not able to do like anything online or with other people. So I think that was like a big issue that people had with it.
Well, and it's funny, video gaming has always had this difficult way of taking a film directly into the video gaming world. I think we got a little difference with Operation Monarch since this is a crossover, but you'd agree that an actual video game based on a feature film, can you name a couple that you would say that were really successful in that?
Yeah. Okay. So so this is between 2000 and 2010. That's when I really did a lot of my gaming. One of the movie to games that I really enjoyed was the Spider-Man trilogy. Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, and Spider-Man 3 based on the Sam Raimi movies. And those were a lot of fun. So those ones I really enjoyed. They did some Star Wars ones. I remember they did a Star Wars one for Revenge of the Sith. And then they did, Battlefront. I guess it's based off movies, but it wasn't like a direct adaptation of the movies.
Sure.
Those were really fun. But I know generally, at least back then, movies to like the movie to game was kind of frowned upon a little bit, or like just they never really turned out all that great. I mean,
just thinking out loud,
you got the Lego games; those are really big. But the ones I just remember most enjoying was the Spider-Man trilogy.
And just thinking, actually, that got me thinking. Actually, PS2. Way back, the Lord of the Rings series, the Two Towers and Return of the King had a pretty cool game duel there. They didn't do Fellowship of the Ring because they took that story and put it in Two Towers to kind of fill out that game storyline. It was very Devil May Cry kind of gameplay, so it was very much beat 'em up action kind of game, and you had different characters you got to play. So I guess I may have eaten those words a little bit, but I do know that sometimes the video games also have the reverse problem of creating a film based on the video games, and there's maybe a few examples that people can come out with. Godzilla Fan Freaks again here, he's chiming in, and other people can chime in too on the chat, talking about the wasn't until later the USA release Godzilla game for PlayStation did it have a multiplayer, but it was a mess. So maybe it's based on a different game, or maybe it was a upgrade to that 2014 release, who knows. And he also especially love the Lord of the Rings games, especially Two Towers. But with this now out of the way, I'm familiar with first-person shooters. Of course, we got our Call of Duty and Halo, and I go back to Medal of Honor. That was one of my favorites to play.
That was one of the early ones when I started playing games, because I that was one of the early ones. I remember that, and in the 90s, it was the James Bond 007 game for the Nintendo 64. I want to say GoldenEye, maybe?
GoldenEye, yeah.
Was it GoldenEye? Okay.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, you could go way back to Wolfenstein and the PC and Doom on the PC. But as far as console, yeah, your really great breakthrough ones with that GoldenEye. In fact, GoldenEye was so popular, they re-released it for the Nintendo 3DS, which is a pretty cool port, actually, of that Nintendo 64 game. Even for a movie, there's another movie that made it as a great video game from the Nintendo 64 90s era, making it over to the, I forget, it was probably in the 2010s or so that they did that 3DS, maybe in 2015, who knows. But
I've got one more movie to game for you that I really, really enjoyed, and I'm wondering if I'll see how many people remember this. Jaws Unleashed.
I've never played that one, so
that's the good one. You're playing as, it's based off the Jaws franchise, and you're playing as the shark. Oh, that's a classic one.
What console?
That was a favorite of mine.
Yeah, what console was that on?
I want to say PlayStation 2 and Xbox. First Xbox.
Okay.
And I think I still have my copy of it. I just don't have a PS2 or Xbox anymore, so otherwise I would play it.
Of course you would want to play as the shark. In the Sega days, they came out with a Jurassic Park where you got to play as the raptor, which was very cool for gamers. You could also play initially as Grant or some of the Muldoon, the human characters, but then you could unlock or I don't even know if you had to unlock, you just had to switch to the raptor mode, and of course then you're starting to attack the humans, and you'd be like, yeah, kids, take all them out, and then they realize, oh, I'm evil. I don't care. I love this. Yeah. So very cool. So lay on us what your first reaction were in immersing yourself into Operation Monarch, and did it hook you? Did you keep playing? Did you find yourself putting the console down and going away? What happened the first time?
Oh, it drew me in instantly, because it's like, I watch the MonsterVerse movies on almost I watch at least one almost on a weekly basis, just because, I enjoy them that much. But just getting into the game, and then you felt like a kid. You're getting in there, you're getting into all this mythology that they're adding to it, and I was so excited, because you're like, oh, I recognize that reference. Oh, that's a new reference. And it was just, from the moment you get started to, you're being in the game, it's just like, oh, this is just so much fun.
And ahead of getting it for your console, were you looking at the trailers, or were you trying to keep yourself fresh, going into it fresh?
Oh, no, I looked at the trailers. And the trailers were spectacular. I mean, Godzilla and Kong looked fantastic. And just the way the trailers were designed, the way they were set up, I mean, the music. I think Barron McCreary, who did the score for King of the Monsters, came back to do some music for this.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So he's definitely the one that I bought the soundtracks to all of them, but he's the one that the 2019, I keep going back to that soundtrack. So that's awesome. They got him for this one, for the video game music. So very cool. So I did get the chance to check out that trailer ahead of time. And then there was one of the developers kind of explained the gameplay and how it tosses you right into the action. And doesn't take much time to get you right in there and right into war.
Yeah, you get right in, you're like, oh crap. Like, it's like, all right, it's game on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as soon as you drop in. And the funny thing is that you've got to be careful, because if you drop in too close to either Kong or Godzilla, you're not going to survive very long.
So
I found that out the hard way.
I was going to say, with Warzone, is Warzone different than the standard Call of Duty with its weaponry, with its story? What differentiates that?
Warzone is, I mean, there's a term for it, and I don't know off the top of my head. It's like Have you ever played Fortnite?
I've seen it being played. I've never
So
played myself.
it's a free for all. I mean, you get put into what is essentially it's a map, and your objective is just find weapons, find ammunition, and to be the last one alive.
Okay.
So it's there's no real story to it. I mean, it is just all my opinion. There's no real story to it or anything, but it's just a free for all melee. See
Okay.
who can come out on top.
So last man standing kind of. Yeah. And so you're placed onto an island, if I had to guess, or different other kinds of
this
landscapes?
one was an island. For this one, it was I think it was based in the South Pacific.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the timeline of this island, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. It's one of those months where like everything is just running together in your mind. I believe it's set in the 40s, so around World War II. So the weapons and the technology and everything are based out of that era.
Okay, yeah, I did
to get used to, because I'm used to like the modernized weapons. So then I'm going back with all these ones from World War II, and it's like, oh well, crap! I gotta get used to these.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I saw in that one trailer and some gameplay, the propeller-driven airplanes. So I was like, yeah, there's definitely some time period in here. Everett's telling me Warzone's free to play, so it's Basic Bones, Call of Duty. So it's free play, open world. I think I've also heard those kinds of things called. So it's just like, go to town if you want to. I guess you could just hide behind a tree or in a cave or whatever. But
I may have been guilty of once or twice.
Trying to be, let them all kill each other.
Take each other out, and then and then you make your move.
Yeah, never had fun with Call of Duty by myself, but always got bored. But Warzone kept his attention and had fun playing solo. So, I haven't heard a lot until now, actually, of the kind of reaction from people. Obviously, I'm hearing from both you and Everett that, and if Everett didn't have to work tonight, he'd be on the stream too talking. But it sounds like there's a lot of fun, a lot of, would you say replayability? Will you find yourself coming back to it often?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because especially it's like when doing something like this, which is taking a game I enjoy playing and tying it in with something that I've been a fan of since I was a kid. I mean, it's like, oh yeah, I want to keep coming back to it. I want to enjoy it as much as I can, because it's only a limited time event that they're doing. I think that's only got another week, maybe, if that.
Okay.
It's doing a very limited run, but that's normal for what they do. But yeah, I have a blast with it, because you're going back in and you're trying to complete these different missions, because they've got for Operation Monarch, you've got different goals to achieve.
Okay.
And that I keep coming back to, I need to achieve those goals. But the problem is that I keep getting killed off, because when it's just regular Warzone, you go in and you're like, okay, one objective: stay alive, collect as much weapons and ammunition as you can, stay alive, and take out everybody else. But with this, it's like, okay, you're trying to do all these different things you're doing two different things. You're trying to stay alive, but also you're trying to accomplish the Monarch goals, which is like, okay, there's a certain part in the game where the Titans will go on a rampage, like Kong, Godzilla will go on a rampage, and you get that, like around that time frame, you got to shoot at them, and by shooting at them, that you can collect points. And for there's two, there's like a Team Godzilla and then a Team Kong section, and it's like, okay, well, if you shoot at Godzilla, you get points for your Team Kong. You shoot at Kong, you're getting points for Team Godzilla. So there's a lot of goals to achieve, but the problem I'm having with is staying alive for a long period of time.
And obviously, it's got some of that, I guess, realism in that if the Titan, does get a hit on you, your meter or whatever, you're still a human, right? So,
oh yeah, no, I have been taken out by Godzilla's atomic breath several times.
It was an honor, but honorable death. So with So with the goals, you are obviously you're working as the military kind of attaché or whatever for Monarch. They've got their objects or MacGuffins or whatever you want to call
Yes.
it. Yeah, that they want you to seek out.
It's like
And
Monarch Intel, I believe, is what it's called.
okay, so gathering samples or something to that
Yeah.
effect, or yeah. Mm-hmm. I see. So, yeah, that's cool, and it is unfortunate. I guess it's on a limited run, but who knows? Maybe they'll bring it back for if there's enough. If there's enough, I guess interest in it that they might have this going for a while. I always thought in games like Unreal Tournament, that's another PC first-person shooter game that goes back to my early 2000s, I'd guess, days where you'd replay, and then you'd find yourself putting it away and feeling a little shell-shocked just because of everything that was going on around you. And it was just like, trying to stay alive. I need to get back to the real world here. Here's Everett. You don't stay alive long in Warzone, especially if you're an average player like myself. I stink at first-person shooters. That is something to get used to, is that idea of it. With the perspective, do you find yourself at all motion sick, or does it feel very natural?
Oh no, it feels pretty natural. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it feels like you're there.
Mm-hmm.
And so no, I've not had any motion sickness problems. I mean, I know I can't speak for everybody. I know for some people they may have that issue, but for me personally, no, it's been smooth sailing.
And that's where I think it with the controllers on the Xbox and PS3, 4, 5, whatever, all the PlayStations, seems like that that way of motion controlling. Where they failed in the Wii, and Nintendo always failed, was I always had the motion sickness with first-person shooter games with those controllers, because it was small little moves, and your perspective kept moving with the controllers. And if it was something that you could maybe lock in the view some way and aim with the weapon in a way, but that was I'm trying to think of a game that I did play in that first person perspective without a accessory controller. Those would really help, but using the Wiimote to navigate around was really it was really jarring for me. It was like after a stage or two, put it down and do something else, and and come back to this another day, if you came back to it at all. But this is very cool. I'd like to bring in some of the footage from IGN if it's possible. I'm going to give this a try. If it screws up, well, I tried anyways. Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what this looks like in the stream. Okay, that's cool. So I'm just bringing up their YouTube for IGN. That's got the gameplay in there. Who knows? Bringing this up may demonetize me, but I don't care. I'm doing this for fun. So so we've got that. It's period piece, but those characters, some of them were human, some were not. Were those different skins that?
So you've got the opportunity to get Godzilla, Kong's, or Mecha Godzilla skin, which is basically a outfit and weapons that are themed based on the monsters.
Okay.
But I mean, unfortunately, it's one of those things where you have to pay extra for it.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So just by default, you could be your human character, and then you don't. Do you get a tutorial to get used to your weapons and the gameplay?
They do a little tutorial always at the beginning of each game, and it's usually no more than a minute. And it's just to get a little refresher or anything. But it's one of those things where it's just like, all right, just get me into the game.
Well, yeah, and you knew how to play Call of Duty ahead of time, so
yeah.
It's
like, I don't need a refresher. Just let me get in and let me do my thing.
And there's Big Kong.
Yep.
So
what's interesting about Kong is, like if you try to land near him, Kong's got the ability. He can jump, so he can jump from like one side of that island to the other. So that can be like frustrating. Like if you're trying to shoot at him to get points for Team Godzilla. Yeah, that you run into that of, well, he keeps hopping around the island, so it's like, well, shoot, it's hard to really get him down.
Yeah.
Whereas Godzilla is he's obviously not as quick as Kong, and he doesn't do any jumps, so you don't have to worry about that. I mean, the worst thing Godzilla does is just go underwater and swim around. But I mean, other than that,
Okay. Does maybe you said this and I missed it, but did he do either Godzilla or Kong specifically target you, or are you just avoiding them attacking each other?
well, it's kind of like they'll attack your general area you're at. So Kong, what he'll do is he'll throw boulders, nice nod to the original movie, or just kind of like just go around just smash an area up. Godzilla will shoot his atomic breath.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
and usually that'll be in the general area that you're at. So it's one of those things where it's like, all right, when the Titans go on a rampage, you gotta get out of Dodge, pretty much.
Yeah, I see. So I wasn't sure if, like, this character is blasting away at Kong, if he will actually react to you and turn his attention on you.
They seem like some. I mean, gosh, the thing is that when you're trying to do that and plus also stay alive, sometimes it's like hard to kind of pay attention. I mean, because they're big in the game, so you don't get the full. It's like you're doing it from a human's perspective.
Yeah.
So sometimes it seems like they do target you if you're shooting at them repeatedly, but it's not normally until they go on their like what's called like a Titan rampage or something.
Yeah, and they're just smashing everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, and looking at this is like one of these recurring kind of nightmares I have. If Godzilla, for instance, ever specifically targeted a human, how frightening that would be. Because in all of the films and things, he's not always specifically targeted a human because he's just rampaging through the streets and stuff. He's not really, we're like ants to him. Maybe with the exception of like the Super X, when he actually did notice the Super X and then actually took it out as payback. So in that sense, he actually did respond to the humans. And I guess the 98 film, he was actually specifically going after, everyone in the cab, which, whatever, it's the 98 film. But this guy wants to shoot Kong in the butt. Does he have any weaknesses or?
No, they don't really have any weaknesses. It's what the thing is that when you're going to shoot them, you want to kind of find the guns that are going to do the most damage. So like there's a term for it, I can't remember. The quick shotguns, the major guns. I mean, I think they've got grenades, but I haven't really tried to use those because I mean that you got to get about pretty close for that one. You do have some like rocket launchers, but again, that's stuff from like the 40s, so they're not like as effective, but they do. I mean, they do the job.
Yeah, so more artillery style, like your rocket launchers, like your grenades, but you're not going to get in a tank or any kind of.
No, I wish you could. Now you can get in a plane. You can get there's an airfield on the map, and you can get in a plane and shoot at them.
Oh, cool.
But it's also a thing of you do that and they will target you.
Man. Yeah. It's got a lot of cool stuff. We haven't seen Godzilla in this gameplay yet, but I imagine is it because it's the first, opening we only get to see Kong, or?
Well, no, it's really like just where you depends where you land on the island. Kong's more kind of in like the center of the island. Godzilla's on the outer side. So that I kind of wish that they don't really fight. At least I haven't finished the game because I keep getting killed off. I haven't lived till the end of the match, but for me, they have not gotten into a fight at all. It's just more of kind of them just kind of doing. They're near each other, but they're just kind of doing their thing.
You were mentioning earlier how Godzilla and Kong look in this. Yeah, there's a really cool look. It's not identical to the films, but I'd say it's a pretty darn good recreation of them for the gameplay.
Correct.
Everett's talking about how much how much fun the plane is.
Oh, so, yeah, it is. It's a blast. But the thing is, it's just a matter of trying to get to the plane and getting the plane without getting shot.
Right. I'm gonna see if I can't maybe seek ahead and see. Look like there's okay. There's some plane. Oh, of course we got an ad, so have to wait on that. Just a
Oh,
few.
God.
I'll take that out until.
Glorious
Yeah.
YouTube ads.
Yeah, exactly. I'll take that out until it's done with, and we'll keep talking until we get to the back to the gameplay here. But yeah, the plane looks very cool. Oh, I think there we go. There we are. Okay. Whoa! That's how quickly you could be taken out by Kong.
Yep.
He jumps on you and you've got nothing left. So, okay, I'm hoping to see maybe in some of this gameplay to actually see Godzilla. So yeah, we got like an airfield or whatever.
Yep.
It looks like you're set up in, and somewhere along the lines you can get into that plane and just blast away. But you're also a target to be taken out just as easily. So very cool. So
that's the problem, is that you're so focused on the monsters and everything, is that leaves you just so vulnerable to be just taken out like that by other players.
Yep. There's Godzilla. He's charging up his atomic breath. Yep. There he is. Very cool.
Oh, yeah. It's just fun. It's so much fun.
It looks like they give
so cool seeing the Monarch logo on everything.
Uh-huh. And it looks like they give Godzilla the glowing eyes.
Yep.
Okay. So everything based on GVK.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, except for the fact that it's set in the World War II era, but
yeah, but it's kind of cool to see those designs for that era, and it's like they do fit really well with that.
Yeah, looks like he's got some sort of artillery weapon there. Oh, I was hoping he was gonna maybe blast a rocket or something at Godzilla. See how that kind of turned out. So. Are you ever able to get to the point where you can take out either Godzilla or Kong?
That I don't know, because I can't make it that far toward the end of the game. I do know where if you hit them enough, they do. They think it's like they quote unquote stagger. They stagger back, so they kind of back off their attack.
Okay.
So they do that a little bit, but and you get points for that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, rack up the points by blasting away at them. Yeah. Everett's telling you can't totally take them out, which makes sense. I mean, it really does. I don't know how many times they keep, in the movies, they keep trying to shoot at Godzilla with machine guns and everything. And it's just like, guys, just get out of his way.
Yep.
Kong could be taken out by your modern weapons. I mean,
but it's just funny. It's like, oh man, I love these two. These are my, Godzilla, Kong. It's, icons, and it's just like, oh, I'm having so much fun shooting them though. I should feel bad, but I don't.
Are there any other references that they make to either? You talked about Monarch in here. Any other references to the films that gets?
There is. There's an area where there's a skullcrawler skeleton.
Oh, really?
Yes, yeah.
Very cool.
I don't remember where that's at exactly. But yeah, there is a skullcrawler skeleton, which is really neat. And then I've seen this on the internet. I haven't found it for myself in the game, but there was some kind of like drawing of another monster, like a cave painting almost.
Oh yeah,
of one that looked like Anguirus. But I haven't found that one in the game myself. Okay.
Everett's talking about the more you attack one of them, the more you get the orca and use their abilities on the map. So there's actual orca device.
There is the orca device in the game, but like I said, I keep getting killed off, so I haven't gotten to that yet because it's just, you want to forget everybody else and you just want to focus on the objective. But then,
I see.
Yeah, that's the problem I keep running into.
Okay. Yeah, so I assume there's a time limit, or is it really just last man standing, however long it takes?
Well, it's last man standing, but if you go back and look at the on the map, there's something called it's gas. The gas is like you cannot go out in the gas, and the gas goes in after a certain amount of time. So your objective is to stay in the circle and avoid the poison gas. Now, however,
Yeah.
I do know that when you're completing your objectives, one of the things you can get is a poison gas mask. That's That's from Monarch. But I haven't survived long enough to where I don't know if I can use that in the gas.
Okay. Gotcha. So
I'm not an elite gamer, game player.
no worries, neither am I, but you're educating me on this, and it looks like a lot of fun. I mean, it just looks like a lot of adrenaline goes into this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take that out. So, it's already, when someone else plays a game and you watch them, the movements are unnatural to you because you didn't make them. So it's like, people like to watch other people play games. I actually don't. I'd rather be playing it. I'd like to be in control. I guess.
That's the thing is that, yeah, you're right. People like to do that, but at the same time, it's like, let me play the game myself.
Yeah, let me get feel for it. So, so you say that compared to other games, you put it right up there with all of the Call of Duty games, or would you put it up there with any other kind of popular game that's out there that people love?
It's hard to. I mean, I just have fun. I don't know where I would rank it. If I would rank it because it's with it being a limited time thing. I don't feel like I may not have the time to get the full on experience. Because like I said, I already have a hard enough time staying alive as it is. But I really enjoy it. In terms of like the themes that they've done, like I've really enjoyed what they've done with this.
Okay. Well, good. Well,
all I can say is it definitely makes me want another Godzilla game where you can play as Godzilla or Kong or whatever. It's just like, okay, now it's really giving me that taste of, oh yeah, I want a Godzilla console game. A brand new one.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe this is a test the waters to see how well it would work, how well it would sell. And so we're gonna maybe give a few more minutes here to Operation Monarch, and then maybe I'll get some of your thoughts on some of the new things that are happening with both Toho and Legendary. But any last words that you would tell anyone who might be on the edge or maybe thinking about getting into this game here? And
I would say especially if you're a Godzilla fan and you're wanting a new Godzilla console game, play it and support it. I mean, this game, I mean, obviously it's not gonna be for everybody. Everybody's gonna have their own taste and everything. People are gonna like it. People aren't gonna like it. I mean, that's fine. Just give it a chance. If you're into gamer or into gaming, or like you said, you just like Godzilla and you like seeing new Godzilla stuff, just give it a shot. Give it a shot. You never know. That's probably the best advice I can give somebody is that if they're on the fence or whatever, just try it. Just try it and see what happens.
Yeah, well, it's worth it. Why not? I mean, just
exactly.
dive right in.
For the most part, it's free. I mean, other than if you want to get the Godzilla, Kong, or Mecha Godzilla skins, you got to pay for that and everything. But other than that, I mean, it's
now, if they would make it for the Switch, so I could play it because my kids have the Switch, and but it's not. I don't think it's available.
Yeah,
I really doubt. My friends in Canada who
I got I'm on 1%, so give me 1 second.
That's fine. I'll go ahead and bring you back in when you're ready to go. I was going to mention actually to the people at home talking about the Dawn of the Monsters. So if you didn't see my live stream on that, where I brought my Eli to do the gameplay on that, and I had this because I have the Switch Lite. The Switch Lite cannot export out the video any way that I was able to research and figure out. The regular Switch, you can get the while playing and be able to stream or whatever you have to record it. There's no way I could figure out how to get that gameplay live out of the Switch Lite. So I had this rigged kind of thing with a phone in front of his face with the Switch on the other side and being able to get the gameplay that way. So a camera pointed at the screen. Better than nothing, I guess. Barron, so I was talking a little about the Dawn of the Monsters game, which is available on all consoles, and it's also on the Switch as well. So that's something I'd encourage you to check out.
There was something that for the PlayStation 2 called War of the Monsters.
I don't know, War of the Monsters. That's a new one on me.
That one?
Yeah, that's a new one on me.
Back in the day.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, I still have my PlayStation 2. I'm keeping that thing forever, especially because of how much I paid for back in the day. So,
yeah.
yeah, and actually, it was the one before they did the slim design. It was the bigger one,
So you
which
got
I
the
love
big
that.
one.
Yeah, the big one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it had, I was going to say, some of the slims, didn't you have to, if you wanted a 2-player, you had to get like a dongle or whatever? It may have came with it, but at least in mine, had 2 ports for a 2-player, and it just seemed like it had more accessories to it. I don't know. I just remember it was just easier when people would bring a slim. It would always seem like I was trying to figure out cabling for it and all that, but whatever. But yeah, I'll have to check out War of the Monsters. Dawn of the Monsters is a really great kaiju beat 'em up game that was just released by actual kaiju fans who have been to G Fest and who work with my good pal Chris with Seismic. He's made the Sofubis for the Monsters Megadon and Ganira.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, I've got my Ganira on the way. At some point I'll do a show with that one. I did a Megadon, and so gaming and kaiju just go well hand in hand.
They really
it's awesome.
It's a fantastic combination.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little monsterverse actually before we adjourn. We got about I don't know, we'll arbitrarily about 15 minutes. It's just somewhere around there. But so one of the cool things we do have coming is, of course, the Apple TV Monsterverse. There's been some kind of mixed ideas of why is it on Apple TV, why isn't it on this, why isn't it on that. I don't know, because you have to pick one streaming service or another.
Well, and from my understanding, this is what I've read, is that Apple TV from my understanding, Apple TV needs content. If they're entering this, in the era of streaming wars, you got Disney Plus is pumping out content left and right. We've got Star Wars, Marvel, and all that stuff. Apple TV needs content, but they were the ones that were the most enthusiastic, from my understanding, in that I think Netflix wanted it, but Apple TV was willing to really go that extra mile for it. And from my understanding is that with Apple TV is that they're not worried about budget. So this is it's a TV series, but it'll maybe like Marvel and Star Wars in terms of it's going to have the budget of a movie.
Yeah, because that's the interesting thing that used to be, well, it's a TV show, so the budget's going to be slashed, and you can kind of see that even though we liked the Ultraman series, you could just tell during its time what the film industry in Japan was kicking out and what the television industry was kicking out. And it was like, obviously you could see, the costuming, the tokusatsu it suffered, the production values suffered and all that, but it was all story. So this time we're living in, they're putting that much budget, you're right, into ongoing series, sometimes limited run series. And so they, like Mandalorian, of course, looks beautiful and looks just great when you think about a series. It stands up, right there, I would say, with the films in a lot of ways. So yeah, if they could put the money where their mouth is, and like you said, streaming, they gotta compete with each other. And why is it that I'm going to subscribe? So they got to take some chances, take some risks,
right?
See what they can do.
And here's the thing: is Apple's got plenty of money. We all know that. I mean, they're not hurting for money, so they're gonna they need content, and they're probably gonna want this to be like almost their flagship show for their streaming service. Because right now it's like, okay, Apple TV's got some decent. They've got the Peanuts, the Charlie Brown and the Peanuts, but I'm not too familiar with what they've got. I know they've got something coming out called was it Planet of the Dinosaurs or Prehistoric Planet? I think is what it's called. It's like a dinosaur dog. It's like a Walking with Dinosaurs documentary, and it looks really cool. I know that's coming out, but other than that, I don't know what much content they have.
Yeah, well, I just bought my iPhone 13, so at least they could pay the caterers based on what I bought. Maybe if I buy a new iMac or something, they could buy at least an episode of the new Godzilla series, the MonsterVerse series. I guess it'd be nice to know. I guess where it's going to go. We're going to have recurring human characters? Are we going to be a monster of the week where we get Godzilla or Kong or whoever fighting a new monster every week? Be
Well,
interesting.
it's supposed to take place between 2014 and 2019. So I'm kind of what I kind of think is that it might be like an Agents of Shield type deal where we will get some monster action. I don't have any doubt about that in my mind. But it may be a thing where it's like they try to do it to where it's like kept out of the public eye. And I think there's lots of ways you can do that. I mean, they even said, people were wondering, well, how are they going to do it when Godzilla's been seen in 5 years? Well, they even said it clearly in King of the Monsters that where Mark, oh God, what's his name? Mark, was it Russell? Mark Russell.
Oh,
he goes, well,
Kyle Chandler's character.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of.
Yeah.
When he asks, well, I thought Godzilla was missing, and they go, well, only if you know where to look.
Mm-hmm.
So I think and Toho is co-producing this, I believe, aren't they?
Yes.
I think we are going to get a surprising amount of monster action.
And maybe even some, maybe hints at the Hollow Earth and, where it's going to lead to more of that. Maybe we'll get to Hollow Earth because, of course, we don't really get there until GVK. So, but
Correct.
They obviously started building into the infrastructure of what Monarch was doing to get to that point, because they even had, in it was either Antarctica or the Arctic, I think it was Antarctica, where they had the portal basically to
which I believe, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe was around the same area that Ghidorah was frozen in.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Now, you do know, have you heard the latest on there is a new movie coming out?
Well, I've heard the character, the actor that Adam Wingard's going to be directing the next GVK or the next monster, and then there was an actor that was already signed to it. I didn't recognize the name or any of his other work.
So
but
he's done a few different things. I don't remember the name off the top of my head. So bad tonight. But he was he played the Beast in the 2017 Beauty and the Beast, and the only reason I really know that is because my wife loves that movie. So
okay, so he's a up and coming young actor, and they're gonna get him as a lead in the next GVK or next MonsterVerse film.
Correct.
That
yes.
that Wingard.
Yes. Yeah, and Adam Wingard's coming back, which I'm really excited about. I thought he did honestly, I think all the directors for the movies have done a really good job. So getting any of them to come back would be a win in my book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would say that GVK gave us something different. It had the fun factor to it, and it kept us entertained and enthralled.
It was the movie we needed after the pandemic and everything. It came out at the right time. It was the movie we needed, and it was a movie that brought theaters back to life.
Yeah, it didn't need to take itself too seriously, but had a lot of fun with itself, and left us wanting more.
I think that's what a lot of people just want in their movies now, and that's maybe why the Marvel Cinematic Universe does so well. In that it's just they tell good stories, and they're fun. They're just they're entertainment.
Yeah, I would argue only that after what I'm understanding, I'm not a big Marvel fan now. If I were 12 years old, I'd be, on cloud 9 right now with all the Marvel content, because I was big into the comic books, big into the Fox X-Men series that was out during that time, Batman the animated series. So, I mean, I know that's DC, but still, that was my heyday of comic book movies. So, like Avengers, I saw the first film and kind of stopped, because I was just, I don't know, it didn't catch my fancy, but I understand the fans were enjoying it, loving it. They love Guardians, they loved Iron Man and Thor and all of them, and the Avengers up to Endgame. And then I'm starting to see just from observations from afar that Disney Marvel is going the direction of trying to take itself so seriously to make agendas and messages, and that's where I think they're going to make the mistake of saying, okay, well, we're this successful, let's go ahead and start doing our own agendas and things and see how well that sells. And I'm understanding that it's just not selling as well, and Disney's somewhat finding itself in a precarious place with their fans, in the I don't want to be preached to. I want to enjoy my films. I want to enjoy the story. I don't want to have to take it home with me into this real world that I live in. I want to go to the films as an escape from the real world in so many ways. And that's what GVK did give us. Like you said, it had that fun factor where everything in life was so serious. I needed something to escape to.
Yeah.
And that's where I hope that maybe a continuing MonsterVerse will give us that escape.
Yeah, and I think it will. I think, it's just a matter of finding the right formula that will click with audiences. And I think GVK had that formula, and that it's like, all right, it got straight to the point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you didn't see the other films,
a movie doesn't need to be. I mean, I watch a 3-hour Godzilla versus Kong movie. Well, of course, but I don't think a movie needs to be three hours to be good. I think just keeping it at that 2-hour limit or just under it is perfect.
Mm-hmm. And it didn't need to be. It had a little bit of the MacGuffin chasing, but not much. They still needed to get to Hollow Earth to find the thing, to unlock the thing, to unlock the whatever thing. So there was some of that, but it wasn't. Rise of Skywalker with, you find the thing to find the map, to find the key, to find the whatever, and then we finally have the big battle at the end. At least GVK was always kind of focusing on getting Kong and Godzilla together so we could have this big fight, and then reveal the Mechagodzilla. And it's like you can kind of leave some of that other stuff off to the side and still enjoy this film without feeling like I was intentionally led down rabbit holes to pad out the movie. I really don't like it when they do that kind of stuff. So I'm excited to see that. And maybe you've heard Shin Ultraman, how well it's killing it.
Yes, I've heard
across the pond in Japan.
That. I've heard it's done really well so far. It looks really interesting. I mean, for the longest time I was never a huge Ultraman fan, and that's nothing against Ultraman. I just didn't really have access to the shows or anything, and now it's becoming, thanks to like Shout Factory, it's becoming more available. And I've been able to go back and watch some of the stuff. I'm like, oh, this is really entertaining.
Yeah, and you can find at Best Buy Ultra 7, Ultraman, and some of the other Ultras, and they're quite inexpensive and just a really great time, a ton of content. And actually the Blu-ray releases look beautiful. I mean, for a television show, I was impressed.
Yeah, and just watching them, like streaming them through oh crap, I'm losing the
I know the Shout Factory app. Their channel, whatever.
It's great. Yeah, it's a blast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm excited to see that. I don't know how long it's going to take till we get it in the States, and whether we're going to get it in.
It won't take too long. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe by the end of summer or fall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Of course, you and I will be first in line at the theaters, just like when Shin Godzilla was.
Exactly. Yep.
Like we're hearing about it overseas. And it's like, chomping at the bit till we get it to even the limited theaters it might be over here in the States. I hope it has a bigger release, but we'll see.
Yeah. We will see. Well, yeah, I think it's just a matter of time. It's not if, it's when, if you ask me.
Well,
Nope, I'm losing you. You're cutting in and out.
Give us a second. I think we'll come back. No, you good?
You're fine. Yep. There we go.
Okay, you're good. You're in Indiana. You're close to Indianapolis or in Indianapolis. So if it comes to an indie theater, you and I, Barron, we're going to see some Shin Ultraman.
We will be there opening night.
Absolutely. See some. You coming on here. Our internet will stabilize. Hope it does. Still, if I lost him and he comes back, I'll start wrapping up the show here. But I want
to hear me. You're cutting in and out.
You're back. I'm just going to wrap up the show. If you're still, if we can stable, I'm out here in the county in a wireless internet. Good luck if it stays stable. So we'll wrap up here, and thank you again for your time on talking about Duty Operation Monarch. This I really appreciate.
Oh well,
thank you so much, Barron.
Nick. Thank you for having me, Nick. This was a blast.
Yeah, absolutely, and thank you all for watching the stream, listening about and both Godzilla, how things are going to be really looking out and really and so for me, got them live. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all those good social outlets, and out content coming out here in the near next monster. Thank you very much.